So today I thought I would give you guys my birth vlog. It's gonna be more of like a sit-down video because we didn't film anything in the hospital. I know I said I was gonna get it up last week, but I guess I'm just doing it now, so let's get right into it. So June 21st rolls around and I was scheduled to be induced at 7 a.m. I had to call at 6 a.m. to see if they had the room ready and they were prepared and everything like that. So I called at 6 a.m. and they said that my OB had a family emergency, so I needed to wait until 6 p.m. And at that point, I didn't need to call in. I just was supposed to come in. So during like the waiting time until later that day, Austin and my mom and I just kind of hung out, did things at home, ran a few errands before we would be home with a baby, and so we just kind of hung out. And then when that time rolled around, we drove to the hospital, and that was really exciting because on the way walking out, we were like, this is the last time that we're going to leave without a baby. Like, we will come home with a baby. And so that was really exciting. And so got to the hospital and they got me set up with an IV and everything like that. I can't quite remember. I think they just started with giving me fluids and everything like that. So I ended up getting Cytotec to soften my cervix, if I remember correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong. But that was supposed to be given to me every 4 hours. And they were planning on giving me doses every 4 hours all night long. But I ended up only needing one dose of it, and I was softened. And then they started me on Pitocin because I wasn't dilating, so started me on Pitocin. And after they started me on Pitocin, I remember I had to go to the bathroom, so one of the nurses and my mom just kind of helped me get up and go to the bathroom. And before this, I was just kind of like leaning back, like if you were sitting in a recliner, just in the hospital bed, just hanging out. And I got up, and once I got up into like a sitting position, I felt like the peeing sensation was so bad. Like, I felt like I was gonna pee myself right there. And I started to stand up, and I just like, it was my water broke. And it wasn't like a gush of water like she said it was gonna be. It was just a trickle. It literally felt like I was peeing myself because I thought I had to pee, so I thought I was peeing myself. And so I sat back down, and they ended up testing it, and it ended up being my waters. So at this point, I couldn't sit in the tub anymore because before this happened, I sat in the tub because the contractions were getting worse. And if I had any advice to give you guys, is to get in that tub because it helped. And so after that, I can't remember how dilated I was when I got an epidural, but I did get an epidural, and it ended up not working, which kind of sucked. It ended up numbing my legs, so I couldn't feel my legs, but it didn't numb any of the contractions or anything. So I ended up laboring in a sitting up position, and The only thing that I could do is focus on his name, on Finley's name, and all I tell myself is, you're going through this and this is all for him, and I'm doing this for him, and he's gonna be here soon. And I ended up sleeping in between contractions or dozing off, and I ended up being in labor for 28 hours until they said I was 10 centimeters dilated and I was ready to push. And I was scared. I guess I was more nervous than scared, but they told me that I needed to push at the peak of every contraction, and that was so hard because I felt like I wanted to push before, and I would. And towards the end, I tried to push and tried to push and tried to push, but every time I would push him out, I couldn't hold him there and he would go back in. So the doctor ended up using a vacuum to hold him there so he wouldn't go back in. And I ended up pushing for 3 hours, and he finally came, and oh my gosh, you guys, that was the best moment of my life, honestly. I remember coughing him out because I'd push and push and it wasn't really doing what the doctor wanted me to be doing, and so I had to cough, so I coughed, and all of a sudden everyone was like, keep coughing, keep coughing, keep coughing, and I think I coughed like 4 or 5 times and he was born. I don't remember too much of it because it was so fast, and all I remember is being able to hold him for like 10 seconds, and they had to bring him over to like the little area where they had everything set up for him, and they had to put like an oxygen mask and everything because he had trouble breathing. And while everything else was happening, I would just like stared at him. I ended up being stitched up for like, I think it was like 45 minutes. I ended up with a 3rd-degree tear. And they finally brought him back in. They took him to the nursery. So they brought him back in, and I got to hold him and do skin to skin, and it was best because it was just me and Austin and our little baby, and that was like the happiest moment of my life. So we ended up restricting visitors to immediate family only because we didn't want all these people coming in, and I had no energy. I was in pain. So we just had like our parents and our siblings and Austin's grandma and a few people ended up showing up when we didn't ask them to. So my suggestion is to anyone that doesn't want people to come in is to talk to the nurses about it, because I guess I'm not going to rant about it, but it was ridiculous. So we ended up staying in the hospital for about 2 or 3 days. I think it was 2 days, because he ended up being born on Friday night at 10:01 p.m. And he was 8 pounds 10 ounces and 21.5 inches long. He ended up needing to stay an extra day because his blood sugar levels were low. Breastfeeding wasn't working out, he couldn't latch correctly, and I even got help with a lactation consultant, and it just didn't really end up working. So we started to supplement with formula. I tried to pump and get as much colostrum as I could, and we supplemented, and then at the end of his hospital stay we ended up deciding that we were going to formula feed. So we came home, and at the end of this video I'll insert some hospital pictures, and once we got home it was amazing because we had a little baby now, and it was the best. But now he is almost 6 months old. He'll be 6 months old on the 22nd, which is, oh my goodness, which is in like 3 days. Sometimes I feel like I'm losing my mind. But yeah, I will probably give a 6-month update after this video, because there's quite a bit to talk about, so I will just leave it at that. And if you guys have any suggestions on videos you would like to see, or any questions that you have, if I get enough questions, I will do a Q&A video, but just let me know. And if you guys want to follow my Instagram, I usually post pictures of him daily, if not every 2 days. So yeah, follow me on Instagram. It'll be in the description of this video. Otherwise, that is all I have for you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did enjoy this video, please subscribe and like this video. I will see you guys next time. Bye.